Hey, what's happening, guys? What's going on? Okay, all right. So I'm over here. I want to talk about what I actually spoke on live on stage in front of 80 people last week. And I want to drop some information about personal branding. So a lot of the focus of this group has been obviously mindset related, branding related, business related, coaching related. And then obviously celebrating wins because that's a big deal for me. But I want to actually hit on the topic of personal branding because there's not enough people talking about it, and there's not enough people who know how to brand a business and also know how to brand a personal brand. And a lot of our clients fall into this category. So I wanted to give you some information so you understand what the differences are. Real quick. We're actually doing a masterclass on this. I believe it is next week. I'll drop what those dates are. But if you're interested in attending, we're getting our masterclass series back up and going. Just between the move and traveling down to Florida and then Nashville, I haven't had time. So I'm really excited because I've already tested and tried out this slide deck. So I know exactly what hit home for people. So first things first, what is the difference between personal branding and business branding? Personal branding is literally your namesake. So for example, Bijal Patel, that would be my personal brand. My personal brand typically should not be associated with what my business brand is. Oh, wait, let me say that again. Not that it shouldn't be associated, it's not championed by or dictated by what my business brand is. So it could be, hey, this is Bijal Patel. She's got a brand. It's called Launch, but it's not specifically a requirement, and it's not the focus of what the brand is. So that is one point. The second point is everyone's reason for having a personal brand is different. So if you want to think about some people who are really famous, who have an amazing personal brand, think about people like Oprah Winfrey, Richard Branson, who else? Like Sarah Blakely. Like, yes, you think Sarah Blakely as it relates to her being a billionaire and her company Spanx, just like you think of Oprah as it relates to the Oprah show or to the O Magazine. But beyond that, these people have their own presence. So an really interesting thing, I was just studying up on this, is literally Richard Branson, like the coolest guy in the world. Now he's been to space. Funny story. I literally thought when I joined the internet space, when everyone was talking about Russell Brunson, I thought they were talking about Richard Branson. And I was like, man, I had no idea that Richard Branson with Virgin Atlantic has turned into like such a mainstay in the internet marketing world. No idea that Russell Brunson was a whole different guy with this like ClickFunnels thing. So anyways, but that is the illustration. That is the point. Say what's up if you're here, by the way. That is the point of what a personal brand can do for you. When your name is so recognizable that somebody even sounds close to you and people auto correct it to be somebody else. So they were doing a study on his personal brand, and it was really funny because he's obviously got Virgin Atlantic, like he's got all these different initiatives. He's got the hotels, he's got obviously the airlines and all of this stuff. But his brand, his personal brand, is actually what has the most followers and what has the most engagement. So I wanted to point out what that difference is. So having a personal brand is going to be different for different people. You need to understand what is your intentions. Why are you consciously creating this other brand? What's the purpose for you? So like, do you want to leave a certain legacy and impact specifically about what your point of view was? Do you want to have a charity that's associated with your name? Do you want to be booked and speaking on stages and on podcasts? Do you want to write, do you want to write for like Entrepreneur Magazine, or do you want to be featured in Forbes? Like, do you want to attract investors or even joint partnerships? The reasons, or do you just want to grow? I mean, literally, do you just want to grow your audience? Do you want to grow what your actual reach is? And that is something that can be helped and propagated by having a personal brand. What it does is really similar to what a business brand does, which is it creates a know, like, trust factor there. Hey, Mike, what's going on? It creates that factor that's there, which is amazing because people can then get to know a version of you that you put out there. So I want to define one thing that's super confusing. And I always like to point out that branding has a brand problem. And all of these words are so similar and they're so simultaneous. It's really confusing to understand what's what. So I'm going to break it down for you. Personal brand is what people say about you when you leave the room. It's like what they believe your expertise to be, your character, your personality, your virtues or core values. It's what they believe your main zone of genius is. It's like, what are you known for in this world? What do people remember that you helped with, and what type of person are you? You can think of it that way. Personal branding is an actual intentional and conscious effort to create what that image looks like. So that's like the equivalent of somebody being like, hey, I want to be known as the absolute expert on business coaching. And so in order to do that, I want people to associate my name and business coaching together. And specifically, my audience is XYZ. That's something that you want to associate together. So like Sara Blakely's personal brand, so obviously she has Spanx. So she's a very demonstrated and proven leader and a business maven as a woman. But the thing that's actually associated with her personal brand is that she constantly champions women. So she wants to be known, and she actually wants it as a part of her impact, that she is going to be somebody who gives out scholarships, gives out big chunks of money. I don't know if any of you guys have seen where she did the Red Backpack Fund. Right after COVID had got started, she actually came up with this idea to gift in 5 months in a row, gift 5 women, I believe, $5,000, and they'd get a red backpack. It was exactly how she started. So she had one red backpack. She calls it her lucky red backpack. And then beyond that, she was given $5,000 from a business loan to get started on Spanx. So she wanted to gift that out. So that's very much associated with her personal brand. And now I just recently read that like she gives each of her employees get like a 2-person like ticket around the world or something like that, which is really, really cool. Like you think about who out there, who at the billionaire level is doing that, and you can tell really quickly Sara Blakely is playing the game differently. So that piece is super important. And the other piece to mention about the personal branding point of view. So like y'all know, Twitter is blowing up, like absolutely blowing up. On Twitter, personal brands carry a lot better. And the reason it is because it kind of comes down to being platform specific. It can work on Instagram too, but on Instagram, business brands can also do just as well. In Twitter, you'll notice most people's handles are their first and last name. Like that is a platform for people to decide, I want to be known or I want to be an influencer for this one thing. So for example, I'm doing branding. Let me know if you guys are here. Say, hey, what's up? Let me know if you have questions. So I'm doing branding, obviously, and I'm doing business coaching for established online businesses. Like we are super clear on who we help. Like it's not mystifying, but we're also not niched down. So that can be confusing sometimes where we're not like, oh yes, we only help coaches and consultants. We do. They're a big part of who we help, but that's not the only people we help. So using Twitter as a platform, which I actually just posted my handle. So if you're on Twitter, go back and find that post, drop me what your handle is. And we can start to get you more exposure to like you being on Twitter. I'm fairly new to it, but I'm going to like dive in and be really consistent with the platform. But my entire plan is to really launch my personal brand onto Twitter. So my focus is going to be to keep launch specifically within the Facebook platform because it does really well. We were born here, we were established here, like we do that really well. And then I'm going to use Twitter as my specific platform to voice what my own ideas are on business, on coaching, on branding, like, and then the infusion of all those things together. So a lot of people out there are talking about business. They're talking about coaching. They're talking about branding. But there's nobody out there who understands the game at the level that I believe I do in terms of fusing these different things together. So being able to understand the business side and the branding side and the mindset side and the coaching side, that's what our unique sauce is. So my point of view is going to be to come onto that platform with the bold energy that I already have, and attract people with, and be able to come onto that platform and make it really clear what I stand for. So for example, if you're somebody who loves like NFTs or you love crypto, but your entire business is like a marketing ad agency, you could do that on Facebook and keep Facebook for that. And then you can go onto Twitter and it be completely focused on a different part of your expertise. But the difference is you are curating what that looks like. So you're actually deciding for people what they will experience when they see you and get to know you on that platform. That's where a personal brand comes in really handy. So you can imagine for a second that if you get really focused on, hey, I'm going to become the demonstrated thought leader and trusted authority on the intersection of what brand strategy and business coaching actually looks like, you can see really clearly that I'll be able to find an audience for that. I'll be able to find a really specific audience for that who wants to learn more, who wants to understand more, and who may not have exposure to somebody who's actually talking about the depths of strategy and planning and decision making and thinking that leads to having wildly successful businesses. So very intentionally, I'll drop in some items that like show the actual work that we do. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to confuse that audience with thinking like, oh, hey, here's a graphic designer or a brand designer. So that's an example of how you take personal branding and you curate the strategy so that you can, to the best of your ability, try to guide what your perception is going to be. So anyways, I'm on here. I'm doing these quicker videos now of going live because I don't know about you, but I don't have time to watch a bunch of people's live videos because I am super business oriented, super busy with our team. We have our 3 team members, including me now, and we are like firing on all cylinders, growing our processes, growing our time together, really up-leveling our client delivery and experience level. So between that and the masterminds I'm already in, it's like what I would need is a quick, like, give it to me, tell me what you know, what are the tips, so I can watch and take and apply those things that I want to know. So I'm changing the format of our lives, and this is what you're going to be seeing more of, and you're going to also see me a lot more on Twitter now. So anyways, if this is useful, you see it later, hashtag me replay. If you are active or you're looking to grow onto Twitter, drop me your handle below, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye.